Hello, my name is Erin. I am here to do the best I can at telling my story. I'm not good at this sort of thing. I'm very introverted as well, but I need to step out of my comfort zone. I do believe that my story can be used to bring hope and healing and blessing to others, and I just pray wholeheartedly that the Lord uses my mouth and uses me to help another. So, again, my name is Erin. I'm 41 years old. I have 4 children. I have 2 girls and 2 boys. Amazing, wonderful blessings, beyond words thankful for. My children are 19, 17, 13, and 9. And so, with saying that, I'll go ahead and get started. I have a long history of mental illness, long history of depression and anxiety, and mounds and mounds of diagnoses, and this is and that's, and basically it boils down to me to just a whole lot of dysfunction I have up here. So, to go back. A lot of that, I remember having some depression and suicidal thoughts in high school, but not too severe. It was kind of just, I don't know, it wasn't that severe. I was raised in church. As I grew up, I loved church and I loved Jesus, and I got through the teenage years, and then my adult years hit, and that's when just in my 20s, it definitely took a turn for the worse. Had some traumatic things happen early in my 20s, a traumatic abusive relationship. I'm not going to go into details about that, but my first marriage was very abusive and traumatic, so I left that relationship, and we'll just skip through a couple years. I had a couple babies, had my oldest too. While they were very young, still is when I really got hit hard with depression and a lot of darkness and just not knowing what was wrong with me, not knowing what was going on. It was just, I was very, very dark. And so it landed me in the hospital a couple times, depression and suicidal thoughts. So then started the medications and diagnoses, and that still took a turn for the worse. The medications did not go well for me, and when they wouldn't go well for me, they would change them. So I ended up very much worse, and to continue on into the story, I went from going to doctors for medication to help me with depression and anxiety, and it ended up a couple of years later a full-blown heroin addict. To combine some of those years, it was very dark, and since the medications didn't go well, I turned in pill addict form, and then went from pill addict straight to shooting heroin when the heroin epidemic really hit here. Before that, I had never been introduced to that kind of thing, or been around anybody, or knew anybody, or anything. It literally just came out of nowhere and wiped me out. Soon, heroin was a bondage that when it hit hard and completely bound me. So I ended up taking my kids to my mother's, states away, and I disappeared on them. Left my mother with 4 children of mine, and ended up on the streets, states away, full-blown heroin addict. During that time, I ended up in another very abusive, traumatic relationship with another heroin addict, and basically spent 2.5 years like that on the streets on heroin, and very abused during that process too. So I finally decided that it was time to take myself out of this world, that I did not need to be here anymore. So I had OD'd once during the process by accident, and they had brought me back. Well, this time, about a year later from that, I decided that I would make sure to get enough in me that they would not be able to bring me back. I finally, when I had got enough heroin that I knew, I took about double the amount that it would take to kill me. Like, I was determined that they were not going to bring me back from this. So the last thing I remember is thinking, there's no way they will bring me back from this. This will take me all the way out. I don't remember anything after that except kind of coming to in the ambulance as they were working on me. I kind of remember hearing their voices in the ambulance talking about, she's going back under. Let's get her again. I remember feeling myself screaming from inside, no, just let me die. They did not. Then the next thing I remember is waking up the next morning in the hospital with the machines on me and everything. So when I woke up in there with all the machines on me, I proceeded to rip everything off of me because I needed to go. I was not supposed to still be here. I was quite upset that they did not just let me die. So they came and strapped me. They rushed in and strapped me back down, told me I was not ready to be off of the breathing machine, that I had to stay put. And I let them strap me back down, and a few minutes later I was up again, ripping everything off of me, and I left the hospital. And during this process, me and my husband had warrants for our arrest for a crime that he committed, but since I was there when he committed it, they had arrested him that night when he called the ambulance on me when I OD'd. So when I left the hospital, I found out that he was in jail, and I proceeded to, again, be on a mission to take myself out again. But this time I wasn't able to get enough. I was not able to get enough to take me out. And instead, Jesus had stepped in this process and come the police to take me to jail. I tried to take myself out again, but the police came, and so then there I was in jail for very serious charges, so I wasn't going anywhere. And I went through a long, grueling detox process in there. I was not able to sleep at all, and all I remember is the entire time just sitting there only thinking about, now how am I supposed to kill myself in here? There's 30 women in this dorm with me, and of course cameras and guards and blah, blah, blah. So all I could think about was, how was I going to be able to successfully, I would come up with all kinds of craziness, trying to figure out how I'd be able to take myself out in jail, and either me or somebody else or something. But after about a month of sitting there trying to figure out how to kill myself, and then once I'd kind of finally started to get through that detox process and I had started getting some sleep, I'd still constantly thought about how to kill myself, till there was one day I was sitting in my bunk and thinking about, how am I supposed to kill myself, and that's where I felt and heard the Lord speak to me and told me to get up and get a Bible and read it. And I said, really, God? Me? Why? And no. No. I argued with him, told him no. Wasn't going to do it. I was like, I've been there, done that. I was raised in church. He kept repeating to me, get up and read a Bible. I kept arguing, no, I'm not going to do it. He kept repeating to me, get up and read a Bible. So I finally got up and I went and searched through all the piles of the books and the stuff that they had in there for us, and searched and searched and searched, and no Bible. But I finally come across a paper pamphlet that had the book of John and the book of Romans in it, and that's all it was. So I took it back to my bunk and I said, okay, God, I'll give you one chapter a day. And so I read the first chapter of John, and it's set different. It was a very different experience. I don't really know how to explain very well, but being raised in church, I thought that I knew the Word of God, but at this time, it's like He was really speaking the Word of God to me as I read it. So a couple days of that goes by where I give one chapter a day, and then Easter Sunday morning had came, and they called for anybody that wanted to attend church service. So I went, and it was in there where they gave me a whole Bible. And so I took that Bible back to my bunk with me and started on it. And by this time I was completely just consumed by the Word of God. I could not put it down anymore. It was not no one chapter a day anymore. It went from that to, if I was awake, I was reading the Word of God, studying, devouring the Word of God, day and night. Day and night, I was completely consumed. So the next 3.5 months that I was in there, I devoured the entire thing. Definitely didn't stop there. I started sharing with anybody that asked me, because they watched me transform. They watched me change in there. It dramatically changed me. I was not the same person that came out of there as that went in. I was definitely very suicidal and very homicidal going in. And before I left, we were having Bible studies, a few of us in there, studying together and praying together. And I left out of there a very changed person. It did not get easy by no means. I came out of there and they put me in a halfway house on house arrest for a while, and until the case cleared and everything, and I was cleared of everything. But I was cleared of everything in those charges, but I spent an entire year, almost, it was about 8.5, 9 months altogether of being incarcerated, and then home incarceration with that. So, but during that process was where God worked on me hardcore. So when I got out of jail, I just devoted everything in me to learning how to walk with Jesus in this world. Because once I came out of there, I knew that there was no way of walking in this world and living through it if I didn't give everything in me to following Jesus and clinging to Jesus and being taught by Jesus. He taught me about this, and he also taught me that I have the mind of Christ, and that he is in me, and that no matter what is going on in here, I can rest and trust that he has it all under control. When I feel myself losing control, I can definitely trust that he has all control. So it was 4 years ago in February when I did that overdosing shot of heroin. So today, here I am, 4 years and a couple months later. I just recently got my two youngest children back. And that happened in September of last year. So we are very blessed to be back together. It's been a very traumatic experience. So we have a lot of adjusting and learning learning how to be a mom again. They're getting to know me. I'm getting to know them. And all I know is I can't even take a breath without my Jesus. So I'm very thankful today for every breath that I have. I'm very thankful that I know now that no matter what I do, or no matter what I go through, or no matter how dark the darkness, Jesus has never left me and never will. And I hold on to the fact that he who has begun a good work in me will continue working on me. So no matter what dysfunction is going on up there, my rock, my anchor, my redeemer, my everything, my Jesus. I hope that my story can bring anybody out there struggling hope, and knowing that Christ is real and alive and very much able to see us through it all for His glory, honor, and praise.